Let me take your reporting and come over to Ben Rhodes. I mean, what Zolan has reported to have been going on at the Department of Homeland Security is part of a pattern. I mean, Elizabeth Newman, who left the Homeland Security Department and is now endorsed Joe Biden, and she and her former colleague Miles Taylor tell a very similar story to the one being told by the whistleblower, that her department at Homeland created a document detailing the threats presented by white supremacists and the violent threat that they pose to the homeland. And those threat assessments were rebuffed when they made their way to the White House. I mean, this is pattern is the wrong word, but this is another example of the entire intelligence gathering and then the production of the product up the chain of command being completely broken at best and corrupted at worst.
Absolutely, Nicole. And it's absolutely a pattern. And the pattern is that Donald Trump has his own reality and has his own political interests. And if those don't align with the interests of the American people or even the safety of the American people, that just doesn't matter. You know, I've been in those jobs. I've read reports about white supremacist threats. I've read reports about Russian interference. These are not political matters. These are factual matters. And the reality is, not only is Donald Trump not taking steps to prevent those threats, he's not taking steps to protect our election against Russian interference. He's not taking steps to protect Americans from the threat of white supremacist terrorism. Let's be honest, Nicole. He's spanning the flames. If you look at his own Twitter feed, he is a source of motivation for some of the white nationalists that we've seen. And we've seen acts of violence in this country. The Tree of Life Synagogue, recently in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Instead of having a strategy to protect Americans from that threat, they're seeking to downplay it. Same thing with Russia. And it connects to this point about Iran and China that's very important, because the Director of National Intelligence recently came out with a statement that was head-scratching to some of us, in which he essentially tried to both sides it and say, well, Russia is interfering to help Trump, but China is interfering to help Biden. Those of us who've worked in this field, China has a lot of anti-U.S. information. The idea that they're engaged in a multifaceted, systematic attempt to help elect someone president, as Russia is with Trump, there's just no evidence that that's the case. So clearly they're bending reality to serve his political interests at the expense of the American people and their security. And not only is he not defending us, he in some ways is contributing to some of this threat, particularly when it comes from white nationalists.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.